Today, there are more than 4,000 drug treatment courts, right? First one opened in Miami in 1989 in Florida. It was extended to juvenile drug treatment courts, DUI, DWI courts, family treatment courts, mental health courts, veteran treatment courts, tribal healing to wellness courts. 1995, the first juvenile drug treatment court opened in California, and it says what the reason for them and what the benefits are. The primary goal of drug courts is not punishment. Instead, drug courts recognize addiction as a disease and aim to treat the chronic disease affecting behavior and impulse control. Research from the National Institute of Justice found that drug courts reduce participant recidivism. That means committing crimes again. And they have drug courts in Idaho. I mean, they've got 4,000, and they were intended to be in every state, from what I've read. So presumably they are in every state, but there seems to be some difference between what Idaho says it does and what it actually does. There seems to be a mismatch. So, for example, this is Kootenai County Sheriff just before July 4th weekend, and he's concerned about folks from Washington coming over the border with their and basically doing drugs over in Idaho. But this is what he has to say, and then we'll listen to sort of what's supposed to happen. The legislate. Well, it's only a little short video about drug courts and mental health courts in Idaho, and then a little bit more from this sheriff, Bob Morris, I think, or Bob Morris, I think. And you can look at another video regarding mental health to see how successful the mental health, keeping people with mental health out of jail is doing. But this is what Bob Morris, I think, Sheriff of Kootenai County anyway, this is what he says here.
And for that recreational user, it's important for them to know that this isn't Spokane, this isn't Washington. You're not going to get a pamphlet on where you can get help. You're likely to go to jail.
I thought people might find this interesting, that if you're in USA, you might be very familiar with it, but I haven't heard of mental health courts before, and I came across it here. Stop with a cop. Oh, shop with a cop. Okay. Here we go. Oh, actually, I might turn. Oh no, that's just gonna go. I have to put my glasses on. This is way too small for me to read. Okay. Latah County Mental Health Court. Potential candidates for mental health court are identified through collaboration with defense attorneys, prosecutors, law enforcement and judges. In order to be accepted, candidates must first be evaluated to determine their mental health. The 5 qualifying diagnoses are major depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder and delusional disorder. Antisocial or borderline personality disorders do not qualify. Mental health court is available for those convicted of felonies and misdemeanor offences. Participants spend an average of 2 years in the programme. Officer Megan Vincello and Corporal Casey Green were our department representatives and provided client contact information along with a law enforcement assessment to the court every Monday. And there's also drug court. Detective Corporal Justine Dean is the police department's drug court representative. The court meets every Thursday to manage drug-related client cases. Through this valuable community policing initiative, the department assists probation and parole with random curfew checks and home searches. The most important role our police officers plays is the input they have to the court in reference to the department's daily interactions with clients. For many drug court clients, this is possibly their last opportunity to change their behaviour and get their lives back in order. Okay, so I thought I'd have a find out a bit more about it. Idaho Drug and Mental Health Court Act. Substance abuse is a contributing cause for much of the crime in Idaho, costs millions of dollars in productivity, contributes to the ever-increasing jail and prison populations, and adversely impacts Idaho children. Drug courts, which closely supervise, monitor, test and treat substance users, have proven effective in certain judicial districts in Idaho and in other states in reducing the incidence of drug use, drug addiction, and crimes committed as a result of drug use and drug addiction. Successful drug courts are based on partnerships among the courts, law enforcement, corrections, and social welfare agencies. Mental illness is a substantial contributing cause to crime in Idaho, exactly the same as they say that drugs is. Crimes committed by persons suffering from mental illness cause substantial losses to persons and business throughout the state and endanger public safety. In addition, millions of dollars are spent each year in the incarceration, supervision and treatment of mentally ill offenders. Mental health courts in Idaho and other jurisdictions that closely supervise and monitor mentally ill adult and juvenile offenders and oversee their treatment are an innovative alternative to incarceration for certain offenders. Such courts, which can be operated in conjunction with drug courts, have provided a cost-effective approach to addressing the mental health needs of offenders, reducing recidivism, providing community protection, easing the caseload of the courts, and alleviating the problem of increasing prison, jail, and detention populations. And it is the best interest of the citizens of this state to expand the use of drug courts and mental health courts in Idaho. The goals of the drug courts and mental health courts created by this chapter are to reduce the overcrowding of jails and prisons, to reduce alcohol and drug abuse and dependency among criminal and juvenile offenders, to hold offenders accountable, to reduce recidivism, and to promote effective interaction and use of resources among the courts, justice system, personnel, and community agencies.
Recreational user, it's important for them to know that this isn't Spokane, this isn't Washington. You're not going to get a pamphlet on where you can get help. You're likely to go to jail. You're not going to get a pamphlet on where you can get help. You're likely to go to jail. This isn't Washington. You're not going to get a pamphlet on where you can get help. You're likely to go to jail.